Hi, I'm Nicolette Amarillas. I'm a strength coach and a posture and movement specialist, and I want to help you move better and exercise without pain. Today, we'll deep dive into the RDL, the Romanian Deadlift. This is one of the most popular exercises to develop the glutes and the hamstrings, but I'm seeing a lot of fishy things all over the internet these days. Things about elevating the toes, elevating the heels, changing the form. I really want to show you the tried and true form of an RDL and little ways you can manipulate it to encourage more hamstring or more glute engagement, depending on what you're looking for. But if you've ever been confused about how to do the RDL or how it differs from a classic deadlift, this is the video for you. Let's go over it. Today I'll be utilizing tonal for this demo, but I'm going to start weightless with just the bar. All of the cues I give you are going to be exactly the same, even if you're using a regular barbell at the gym. I'll start weightless with the bar, then I'll attach it to tonal and do a couple repetitions, and then I'm also going to show you some repetitions with dumbbells, just because the way you place the dumbbells is a little bit different than when you use a barbell. Let's first go over our body position as it relates to our equipment, and then that'll help us get set up for success. I like to always make sure that my hands do not obstruct my legs, so I'm always holding a little wider than my legs. My feet are hip distance and toes are forward, so there's no turnout with the RDL. Knees are soft. With the RDL, it's technically a straighter leg deadlift than your classic deadlift. So a classic deadlift, you start at the bottom with knee flexion and hip flexion, pull the bar up, and then lower back down. With an RDL, we have a soft knee bend, but that knee bend never changes throughout the range of motion. And the movement starts at the top. We start the movement by reaching the hips back with a soft knee bend, we hit our end range of motion, and then we come back up. All of that to say, the knee flexion is really important because it does change the engagement. A straight leg or a stiff leg deadlift is going to be very, very, very hamstring dominant because we're putting so much stretch into the hamstring because the knees are in extension. When we have more knee flexion, it allows for more hip flexion, which then allows for more glute engagement. So if you're someone who really wants to emphasize work in the glutes, I definitely encourage some knee flexion in your RDL. Without that, it's going to be a very hamstring dominant exercise, which isn't bad, it's just different. Feet are hip distance, hands outside of the legs. Let's start the movement. I like to start first by opening up my chest and pulling my shoulders back. Make sure though that doesn't change the shape of your spine. So pulling your shoulders back doesn't extend the rib cage. Shoulders back, but hips stay tucked in and core is tight. From here, we're going to slide the bar down the thighs as the hips reach back. Imagine someone's pulling you from behind, from your butt crack, okay? From the wall behind you, pulling you back as your torso comes forward. I also like to think that someone's almost pulling the back of my pelvis from the ceiling as well. So it's almost like the hips are going back and up. This helps encourage more hamstring stretch and tautness of that hamstring. And the more we can put into the hamstrings in the back of the leg, the more work we're gonna get as we come back up. So think about how the hips are going back and up. So even though your legs aren't straightening, there's this energetic pull of the hips coming up as they reach back. Now, hamstring flexibility is gonna be a huge determinant here for your range of motion. If you go down and you start to feel flexion in your spine, then you know you've reached the end range of your hamstrings. You could do two things. You could stop your range of motion. So a lot of people might stop here, right? Like right above the knees. Or you could try adding a little bit more knee bend. That additional knee bend will give you more range of motion to keep your spine straight. We do want to keep the spine straight the whole time with an RDL. We don't want to go into flexion because we don't want to start working the ligaments of the low back in that stretch position. We do want the back to be in a straight position so that we're not stretching the ligaments of the lumbar. So to repeat, shoulders back, chest open, lats engage. I also like to think like I'm breaking the bar, okay? So I'm really engaging my lats and my back. Knees soft, but they don't change the entire time. Once you get that knee flexion, it stays the same. Hips reach back, energetically lifting up to create a big stretch in your hamstrings. And finally, chin tucked. not letting your eyes meet the horizon, but instead meet the floor when you're at the bottom. Once you're at the bottom, squeeze your glutes even before you've started to lift. Pre-engage those glutes to ensure they lift you up, and then open up your chest at the top, coming like your hips are coming toward the bar, and then squeeze the glutes. Let's try it on tonal. Now on tonal, because you're attached to something, you're going to have more of an ability to almost counterbalance the weight because you have something pulling you forward. Try not to do that. Try to imagine you're not using a cable machine and that you can't pull against the weight. Because a lot of the times what I see is people using the fact that they're attached to a machine to be able to lean back more. But try not to do that. So everything is the same that we just did. My weight's really light right now, but chest is open. Okay, engage the back and the lat. So notice this versus this. From here, reach the hips back as the bar slides along the thighs. Think up and back with the hips, keeping the knees soft. Squeeze the glutes and power the hips forward. You will know if you're too far back. If the bar comes away from your legs, you want to make sure you're close enough that that bar can stay pretty close to the legs, if not touching the entire time. And just like we mentioned before, the more knee bend you have, the more glute engagement you're going to have. A straight leg or a stiff leg deadlift is a hamstring exercise, not as much of a glute exercise. Reach the hips back. Back, 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 back. Knees stay soft, squeeze the glutes, open the chest, and stand tall. Now we'll go over a version with the dumbbells, real quick. I like to have the dumbbells placed just at like a 45-degree angle at my thighs, so not directly in front and not at the side. Same positioning, everything else is exactly the same, but the dumbbells are at that like 45-degree angle along the side of the leg. Everything else is unchanged. And then if you were to have a regular barbell, it would be exactly the same right in front of you, just like we did on tonal. And that's the RDL. It's a fairly simple movement, but there's so much involved. Like I said before, you can make it more hamstring dominant or you can make it more glute dominant. But overall, I like to think about the hamstring as a glute-hamstring combo exercise. If you want something that's very specific for the glutes, I would do something more like a classic deadlift or a barbell hip thrust. If you have any additional questions about this exercise or any of the exercises on my channel, feel free to comment below. I'm Nicolette Amarillas, and I'll see you again soon.